Well, you know, usually people call Silicon there, your honor. I call him my senior because, as you know, he's my senior brother. You know, and in my place, I'm taught that you must respect your seniors at all time. And as a person, I insist, no matter how powerful, how rich you are, if that allows you to disrespect your senior, you're not worth having that money or that power. So my senior, and then of course I have my leader. And the other members of the high table, let me respectfully stand on all due and existing protocol because we are very important people. First is to most sincerely apologize that I came in here late. When my senior directed that I must come here, because it was the direction. You know, he directed that I must come. I tried to get a flight. I got a flight for 1, but of course, go to the airport, aviation fuel, as you might know. You're lucky if they fly, so we didn't leave until after 2. So I apologize for coming here late. I apologize for being part of this late because you must have been here for a while. Number 2 is to most sincerely thank you for gathering. Nigerians don't often gather unless they have something to share. So whenever you see people gather for free, you thank them. That means somehow they meant well. So I thank people for gathering. And then I go beyond that to say, for me, I would prefer an interactive section with you. Because there's nothing I tell you that you don't know. You know, everybody knows how bad things are here. It is hard to get out of it. I heard when my senior said, it's about manifesto. That you're waiting for my manifesto. I've watched people declare, somebody told me this morning, he said, Peter, everybody that have declared have got a long speech to say. I said, we're not lack of speech here in this country. We are very first-class people who speaks Queen's English, who speaks very well, who have all the good things to say. If I was there with my Mbo doing, he would tell you very brilliant things about, oh, Peter is alumni of Cambridge, alumni of Oxford, alumni of this. But I think we've come to a junction where we have to put all those things aside. I can always say, when it comes to education, I say yes. Even if it's for one day that I've passed London School of Economics, Harvard, Columbia, Kellogg, Oxford, Cambridge, this. But educational qualification is not a measure of integrity. I've seen it in this world. Speaking good grammar and presenting good manifesto, it also has not shown that people want to do well. So question now is, you've seen a lot of people who wants to be president of Nigeria. In fact, the only people who are remaining are those who haven't declared. Everybody's declaring, and all of us have passed through one place or the other. Let's ask question. When Mr. Obi passed through, what did he do there? So we can know whether we can trust him with the next one. I was in a radio on Thursday or Friday. Yeah. I never knew about the radio. I never listened to it myself before I went there. Never wondered because I didn't know it exists. But because I move around, I always listen to Gateman, driver, everybody. I want to know how they feel. So when I sit down to discuss, my brother lives there, he has a houseboy. So when I go to visit him, I said to him, I want to have a chat with your houseboy, Temple. So Temple, come. What do you drink? He said, oh, I know they drink. I said, no, Temple. Let's drink and chat. Temple, how is your life? How are you coping? Do you have a family? He tells me, yes, I have a wife. How many kids do you have? Temple have 4 kids. And the driver that drives me has 6. I have 2. So I said, driver, because I know the salary of the driver. So how do you cope? What's happening? So they tell me about this radio. They tell me, a part of the things they tell me about how they cope and everything is, that's how I learn it. So they told me about this radio, and they said, and when I went there, I saw so many amazing things. But again, the reason why I said this, I talked about them, that what I told them, I said, go and verify. One of them, they verified. When I was talking to them, I said, listen, I was chairman of Nigerian SEC. I said, go there. And as chairman, they didn't buy me tire. I said, yes. I said, when I came there the first day, they showed me, this is your this is your this. I said, I don't need them. I'm just privileged that government gave me this appointment so I can come and help. I said, the reason why I tell you is that it's in Abuja. If I tell you I was chairman of a bank, they didn't buy me a car. If I said the bank is in Lagos, but this one is in Abuja. Not that they didn't buy. The day I came, they showed it to me. They said, this one belongs to this one belongs to. I said, no. I'm coming here for meeting. When I finish meeting, I go. I don't need your allowance. I don't need anything. I want to help and go home. And they went. Somebody sent me, they said, we went there. They told us that even when they give you sitting allowance, they say you're going. Finish your letter. Why did I say go to the place the person worked and verify? It is important. I've left Anambra now for 8 years. Anambra has never bought me pure water as a former governor. But I hear people being paid millions because they serve there, but I've never had pure water. Talk less of good bottled water. But in all, why did I start from here? What I need to do for you who are going to work for me is to introduce myself to you. It is for my introduction that you say, we believe him or we don't believe him. If you believe it, you know, we need to change here. You know, I've tried to tell you people about the youth and what we need to do for the youth. The reality is that we're not doing the youth a favor. We are saving ourselves. Because what happens there is that today you hear of banditry everywhere in Nigeria. That bandits are those we refused and failed to invest in yesterday. If I had invested in them, if I had given them a job, we would have reduced it. I'm not saying they won't be crime, but we would have reduced it. So they had no they had no reason to say, I'm a Nigerian. Yes, people say them, some of them are foreigners, I agree. But if we had invested in our own, they wouldn't allow the foreigners to come in. So we need to invest in you. We need to invest in the youth. The youth, everybody, do you know why people retire when they're 60, when they're 65? Because they're no longer as productive as they are when they're the youth. So investing in the youth is investing in engine of growth of your country. They are the ones that will produce the prosperity of the country. They are the ones who have the energy, the talent, the everything to move on. Every company you're celebrating in the world today is built by the youth. People don't hardly build any company when they're old. Those who founded the biggest corporations in the world, they did it when they were youth. Go to them. Today, the Amazons, the Apple, the Facebook, Twitter, all these are founded by youths. And they are the ones driving everything. Your youths don't have the same privilege. They don't have what it takes and everything. What are you going to do about power? Like you just asked me. Again, you're not doing anybody a favor. You have to provide it because they have the engine of your growth. Have you ever seen government here say that they have a problem with revenue? Have you ever heard it? Huh? You're not following our government. Government complains anyway. We don't have enough revenue. They even say they don't have a debt problem, they have a revenue problem. They say it every day. You haven't seen our government say tax to GDP is low. Haven't heard it? You know why your tax to GDP is low? Because you have people who are not working. Would they pay you tax from where? Are you going to tax unemployed people? Are they going to kill their mother and father and come and pay you tax? Taxation is like a bank account. You first have to put in, then you take out. If you had invested in those youths, they will be productive and you will tax them. But because you didn't invest in them, you can't tax them. I can show you 20 countries what the youths have been able to do. Empirical evidence, verifiable. So that's where we are. Your country has collapsed. That's why I say thank you for not coming when there's nothing to share. Because there's nothing to share again. No? Sharing has finished. What the politicians that are sharing today is your future. Because they are borrowing money and sharing it. And that you won't stop. Not about me. I'm desperate to see a better Nigeria. Not to be president. I went to Anambra State. I was governor for 8 years. Like I said, you can go and verify in Anambra State. I don't have a piece of land given to me by Anambra State government. I don't have anything. And like I tell people, no thief sees what he can steal and leave it. Never. It has never happened in the history of the world. No thief. But I left 70-something billion naira of their money. And they didn't pay me any severance. Neither have they bought me and said, Peter, you're going today. We're going to buy this car as goodbye. They didn't give it to me. I didn't leave the money in foreign banks. I left them in banks in Nigeria. So whenever I said, if you want, I give you the statements. You go to the bank. The banks hear me say it every day. And now I've said, no, we didn't have the money. Because they had it. Yeah, people have seen me every day say, the day I left office, I was not owing gratuity, I was not owing pension, I was not owing salary, I was not owing any supplier, anybody. I know contractor have said I was being owed when he left office. The only problem is that I quarreled with the elites who used to live off the Confucian. I said to them, you can't continue to live off this Confucian. That's what we're going to. So I prefer interactive questions. If you have a question you want me to clarify, I'm better off. Otherwise, I'm going to give you the same speech I say every day, and people will say, oh, well, this is this. Yeah, that's better. So let's start with the woman at the back there. Feel free. At least I can take a few of them far on. Okay.
It's okay, sir.
My first question is this. In the education sector, the primary, secondary school is suffering a lot, especially the teachers. And the tertiary, they have what is called headphones. Why is such not being repeated at the secondary level? At least to give these teachers something tangible. Because when you go to the secondary school, you see the teacher finds it difficult to buy a car. And they expect them to give a very good output while they are suffering to teach. Then secondly, I want to go on indigenization. In certain areas, you see that people find it difficult to say. They say you are not an indigene. You are not an indigene, but you are a Nigerian. How can this issue be trashed if you get into the office? Then the third question is this. Some persons find it difficult to to get a place of worship, especially those who are in the northern region. How can this be caught if you get into the countries? Thank you.
Okay, let me just take this through. Let me be honest with you. Some of the questions you asked, if I tell you that it's going to be my worry when I get into office, I'm a liar. These are secondary issues. People are looking for food. It doesn't matter whether they are regarded as citizens or not. They need to put food on the table. So I'll be preoccupied with food, not whether if you are from Imo and you're in Jigawa, if they say you're not from Jigawa, you have to hold on first. Let's deal with Jigawa people. As long as Jigawa people are eating, that is my problem. I wouldn't first go to start, because everything you see in the Western world, in the developing countries, they have a stage. Have a stage. You know? And if you don't deal with the stages where they are, for example, when you talk about condition of service of primary school and secondary school teachers, those are for the ones that are employed. I used to tell people when I was in government, I said, you're lucky you're employed. We're talking about how to bring people into employment first. When more numbers are employed, then we start talking about condition. Do you know in this country, let me give you an example. An employed primary school teacher or secondary school teacher takes home about 50,000 naira on the average a month. Am I right? Yes, sir. There's millions of people in this country who don't see 5,000 in a month. So we need to bring in these people into the system where they're even seeing something small. As the economy grows, it will start changing. I told somebody that I was in China. I visited China for the first time in about 85, 86. And the hotel I stayed, in the morning, we all had to go down to, they only had a bathroom and everything at the end of the corridor. So in the morning, we would tie a towel and go down there and shower. And then I went there subsequently, when I was governor. They've changed it into a 5-star property. So there's a graduation. It didn't just happen. The road, when I used to arrive at the airport, people are begging me, because I came as a foreigner, if I'm going back, if I have even 2 cents, they're all over the place. There's good people everywhere. Vehicles I used to enter, rickety vehicles, have all changed. That's how countries are built. So overnight, the more and more we can get people to have means of livelihood, the better. Place of worship. Again, like I said, these are things that ordinarily all these things we do here or fight for will solve itself if things get better. There's churches in China. There is in everywhere. I don't know anywhere, even when people talk about Muslim or Christians or this. Which country have the highest amount of Muslims? Indonesia. If you go to Indonesia today, I'm a Christian, a Catholic. I go to Catholic church there. If you go to Dubai, which you go and celebrate every day, The Catholic Church in Dubai is built by any of Dubai. Who is the Muslim? Yeah. He comes there 3 times in a year. He comes there to worship with them in Christmas, during Easter. He comes there. You see, when you bring all this poverty and everything, you care. You start worrying about everything. So the elites in Nigeria, which I belong to, in order to live off their failure, maintain their failure, they tell you, oh, they go from ethnicity to religion to this, in order to maintain their failure. You know the richest man in the world today? From South Africa. Elon Musk is from South Africa. Want to live in America. I can count other people. The biggest company today is what? Apple. Apple today is valued to be worth about 1.5 trillion. More than the GDP of South Africa, Nigeria, Egypt, the 4 biggest countries in Africa put together. The founder is somebody they picked from an abandoned home. It doesn't need to be anybody. I can go on and tell you. But because we live in a system that does not allow people's talent, people's hard work to match up the opportunity, you start saying, oh, place of this, place of that. Somebody asked about cybercrime. If you know India very well, India is still leading in technology. Are you aware? India used to be involved with all sorts of crime. Those talents you think that are doing cybercrime today are the talents you need to change to build the business in that sector. All you need is to say, this is no longer working, and if you do it, you're wrong. You change them. Fighting cybercrime, fighting physical crime, fighting all that will be dealt simultaneously in the same way by what? Pulling people out of poverty and giving them a means of livelihood and encouraging them and investing in them. And that's what you need. That's what your country is not doing. The youth, the cybercrime is more among the youth. Am I right? The physical crime is more among the youth. If they start seeing things, if they start seeing proper impact, support of government and everything, you deal with it. Cybercrime, of course, there's technology to fight all that. Just like there's technology to fight the physical and the banditry we are faced with. So it's going to be dealt with. I have dealt with crime as the state governor. You can go and ask people what happened while I was governor. When I came, there's a day that I have to leave Oka because of the level of criminality. But we fought it at standstill by doing the right things. But it's not something you can say, oh, we're going to change it overnight and everything. We have to deal with issues that can help people. Maybe we're even pushing people into crime. People stop small businesses. The government kills the business. The government does this and everything. So people say, okay, let me take to crime. Next question. That question. Do we have public procurement commission now? Let me hear. I want to hear from you. Give me the mic. Do we have it now?
I think we do, but it's not active. It's not working. It's not working, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. You've answered my question. Let me tell you, every ministry, every government at all levels, including local government, have public procurement office. You answered it and you said it's not working. I hear people every day saying, institution, about building institution. I agree. And I'm happy my senior is here. The institutions we celebrate in the Western world were built by people, sustained by the people. Somebody comes and do what is right, the people take ownership of it. And when somebody wants to do what is wrong, they say, no, you can't do that. That's how institutions are built. Institutions are not trusted from God. It is people that say, we can't go this way. Public procurement is what we call due process here. Am I right? I was impeached in Anambra State for not going through due process. Go and read my impeachment notice. I can tell you 3 days I was impeached. When I became governor, there was no office of governor. The office of government house was burnt. Where the governor, the lodge of the governor was burnt, because they had an issue with my predecessor. And they bought these 2 buildings. So when I became governor, that year, I came in on March. So the budget of that year has been approved. In the approved budget is 298 million naira to repair the governor's office. 298 million. And then 486 million to repair the governor's lodge and everything. Because when I came in, I assumed we must now cut every cost. I decided this job has been awarded to us, near awarded to somebody. And I said, okay, we don't have money. I'm going to do it directly. My office, which is me going to use it, cost me 43,200,000 from 298 million that is approved in the budget. 43,200,000. And I bought everything new. The only thing I didn't buy new was my table. The table I used was a table, the first civilian governor in this republic used, because I saw it somewhere where they kept it. And I said, this is the, why are we looking for table? This table is good. They said, hey, they gave me all of a suit. This table has been done there. I looked and said, oh, this table, this, they saw that. I said, it's table. This is table. No, it doesn't matter. So I brought the man, the furniture man, carpenter. I said, what's doing this? You know, there's something they wipe on it. But I just saw paper and table is table. They know what it's about. And that was what I used. 8 years. It didn't spoil. So, that was the first impeachment notice. The first item on my impeachment notice. I repaired everything where I lived. I repaired everything with 81 million from 486. They had a bed. They've ordered a bed, some furniture, which was supposed to be imported from Dubai, from this, from that, and that. And I said, there must be somebody in Oka who can do a bed. I can say, well, it's not good. Bed is for sleeping. It doesn't matter which side, where you bought it from, whether it's from Dubai or from China. Bed is bed. If you have a reason not to sleep, you'll be awake. Even if you have reason to sleep, you sleep. So that was the second notice. I can show you the three notice of impeachment. So 486 million, 351. The other one I did it for 43 Number 3 items that I was saving money. Our constitution does not allow you to save money. But I tell them as an individual, save money. As an individual, quote me anywhere, I don't hide it. I save money. There's never a year I ate everything out. As an individual. Even this morning, my wife asked me, and I said, listen, the guy can even put in savings that will mature made in 2048, 2030. Because there's people coming behind me. I have to say. So that's my life. So as a state, we must save money. These are the 3 things where I was impeached. You know what they said? That I did those jobs without going through due process. They would have spent all that money. And like I said, somebody asked about my candidates and the elites. I'm happy you asked that question. You've known my position with the elites. They are the problem. Thereby, it is for you people. But I told you what they are sharing is huge. And I told them to their face, if you continue this way, you will not be refugees, including you. Anarchy consumes everybody. If you throw a bomb here, you will not say Peter this presidential aspirant or you honor him there. You can kill everybody. Same thing when anarchy comes. Anarchy can consume everything. You can't continue to do the wrong thing. Of course, yes. I've been in a situation where people tell me, Peter, tune down this, don't say this. No, I say, no. I've been governor for 8 years, where I've been confronted by the highest person in the land, president, everything. People are not happy with you. And I said, I didn't promise anybody happiness. I'm not a comedian. There's people who are paid to make people happy. My job is to fix school. If you go to your place in Obo, I fix the school there.
Yes, sir.
There are buses. I built road to your place.
Yes, in front of my house.
Thank you. I'm not supposed to make you happy because it's not my job.
I know,
As a comedian. So we have America is a very good place, but they have so many comedians, because there's people whose job is to make people happy. Some will say I don't keep in touch with them. If you don't know, I didn't keep in touch with them. As governor, every senior prefect in the secondary school in Anambra State have my phone number. Everybody knows. I answer them. My job is not to answer the big man. But I want the students, because that's my job, that's what I'm elected to do. That's why we can move education for number 26 in Wike and Neko to number 1. That's what I'm elected to do. You don't say it now, then I didn't road in his place. I didn't have to know him. I don't need to measure his happiness, because it's not my business. And earlier I would tell people, if they say because of it, PeterObi will not be, so be it. Because I have to tell them the truth. It's simple. Somebody asked what I would do for women. Let me tell you, You said after hard work, we neglect women. We are actually neglecting ourselves. Women are the most productive set of people. In a developing country, let me give you an example. Today, how much money do we earn from oil? How much do we earn from oil? No. Eh? About? Let's say it's even 20 billion. Bangladesh earns from government 36 billion dollars. Government export. That is twice what we earn from oil. And that industry is employing about 10 million, out of which 60% are women. So not investing and exploring, working with women, I can tell you, they're very talented people. 50% of the mistake I've made because I didn't listen to my wife. Because he has an idea of seeing when things are wrong, and I say, oh, no, forget it. So they are an important engine of growth. And what you said about tourism, I might differ a little bit. Tourism, I just came back from Morocco. Tourism gives them about 4 billion, no, I think 3-point-something billion dollars. So it's a huge source of income. But my sister, where are you going to tour here? No. You can't go to anywhere now. So, first things first, before you start your tourism, you have to feed those who will make it impossible for people to move from one place to the other. You cannot go from here. You can't go from here to Kaduna today. Can you believe it? You can't even go by air. No by train, no by anything. Eh? So, this is what I'm saying. We need to break all those ones first. The greatest tragedy of here now is that you need to secure here. The insecurity is killing that profession. It's killing that side of business. So you need to secure Nigeria will help you in agriculture and in tourism, as well as build the overall image of the country as a place people can go and invest. We need to open up everywhere. It will give jobs. It will help and everything. It's not just tourism, sports, everything. There's so many things to open up. And the country is waiting for it. But the confusion. Somebody mentioned the issue of, okay, I think I've done all that. But did somebody mention corruption? Huh? Okay. Next set of questions. Maybe we'll soon stop. Yeah. Let me start with the finance. First is the regrettable that a nation like ours, over the years, has refused to do the proper thing about setting up the finance. Have refused, remember what I said, to do the proper thing about refineries. Because the right thing can be done, and like other nations, we are the only producing country of our size over the years that didn't do anything in that direction. And those you call mini refineries, people have set up, were set up because of the vacuum created by not having the proper thing. And there's so many ways of dealing with it. Some would say destroy it. I don't think that is the best. Those mini refineries, we can think about how to use them in a more effective, contributory way. So at the end of the day, there's issue, like I said, it's not here or there. There's issue to manage them. Somebody talking about indiscipline, which is part of corruption. Let me tell you, people are indisciplined. People behave in the way they behave because if a bad behavior becomes a measure, like it is in Nigeria, a measure of success and a measure of power, you behave it. If I come in here now with police and I'm pushing people, what do you think you think in Nigeria? But that is bad behavior. But in Nigeria is success. If I go into a church, I came late, and I moved straight to the front, everybody is telling me, it shows His Excellency have arrived. That's the message. What is the meaning of His Excellency? His Excellency means an excellent person we can emulate. But he came late, swaggered to the front, disrupting the whole event, gets up to speak, unapologetic for coming late, behaves as the manner is that you people are supposed to be here waiting for me. Because they're powerful man. And that's it. And that's in everything we do. The rascality, bad behavior, has become this. So I'm in government. I want to celebrate my wife's birthday. We'll go to London. Because we can no longer stay here and do it. My son wants to marry, we shut down the streets. Because otherwise, we'll just be ordinary people. So that's what it is. I've had a personal experience, which I don't need to talk about. At times I mention it, where people will say to me, "Oh, Peter, we heard your daughter just got married." And I said, "Yes." "Oh, I wasn't invited. Oh, I wasn't this. How can you just do something like that?" I said, "Listen, my daughter got married. If I call the whole world to come and drink, of what effect is it to the marriage? Will it make it better? Will it make it this? I'm not the one marrying, it's my daughter." So, oh, you cannot do such a low-key thing. No, no. First, where you have reached, where do you reach? Are you God? So, because rascality and bad behavior has become the, and people say to me, I had an interesting event. I was telling people, my daughter got married, and a few people, my wife have a few friends, we invited some musicians, and it was very interesting. It was the first time I'm meeting some of them. So at night when the event finished, I saw in the same hotel where I stayed, I saw some musicians. They were about 4 of them. Nice people, very nice young men. One was, let me remember their names now. One was Flavor, the other one was Fino. So they were sitting down and drinking, I happened to meet Fino when my little sister Chimamanda had a birthday, and he came and they were greeting him. So my daughter saw him and and said, my daddy. I said, I don't know him. He said, it's Fino. It's okay. You people know musicians. I don't know them. I'm not into music business. Everybody has figured it out. So I asked them one question. I said, let me tell you. They were very interesting people to discuss with. And I said to them, you see, 8 years I was there. I didn't invite any of you because I wasn't doing a show business or night business or that. Not because I don't like you people. But because what I'm doing was different from your trade. What I'm doing is a more serious business. And I showed them, when I was governor, I had a visit from the Jackson brothers. Jasmine and all of them. Jermaine and Jackson. When I was governor, and people were telling me, Peter, hey, how can these people come to visit you? You're not even showing them to the world. I said, listen, what do you think people will think I'm doing here? Trying to start a band? I have been invited where some young people who did film. What's the name of this? What Lepito? What's the film? What's the person? Is this all about? No. There's a famous black, this Kenyan girl, Lepito. There's a film. Black Panther. Yes. So they invited me to an event, and I came. And everyone said there were so many actors, serious minded actors, who are reigning all over the world. And I said, I don't know you people. And people were like, oh, Peter, how can't you know all these actors? Like the ones in Nigeria. I said, listen, I don't know them. I live in Onitsha. I live in the theater. So I don't need to pay to see the acting one. They're doing practical ones I can see immediately. Any choice. So, but that is it. Yeah? So, my dear, indiscipline have become a norm. Because I can say anything, I can do anything, and nobody cares. This is the only country you elect Mr. PeterObi to a post. At the time you elected him, he doesn't have a car. He doesn't have a house. And he builds the biggest house in his village. Buys lots of cars. Invites people for Thanksgiving. The bishop is praying. The people are all praying and asking God to continue to bless him. Rather than come to us, because they know where the money comes from. And if you don't do it, you know what they say? The man is not serious. Thank you, use the right word. Percentage of youth in government. That's not what the youth need. I disencourage the youth from being part of government, especially in third world country. I want to see the percentage of youth that will be the next Mark Zuckerberg, not in government. Government is not a place for them. They will be in it. They will be there. They will be part of it, but not percentage. I want to see the percentage of youth that have built the next corporation. I made money as a youth. Today I can afford to do this. You saw me in Bracket. I said I have 2 children. They are graduates. They have never participated in any public life. I have a son that is going to be 29, 30 soon. He doesn't own a car. Because he has to buy his own car. Not me. I'm the governor. Like I said, I have a daughter. My daughter just got married on Easter Day. That's a few days ago. It is my daughter that got married. My in-laws printed the invitation. I said, invite your friends. My wife said, Peter, can't you invite few people who big men who call me, come on, they want to come and say, what? It's my daughter getting married. It's my daughter. And we're very good. We're very close. This morning now, she's the one who said me, Daddy, say, Johnny, when you come back, I will talk virtually every day. She's a teacher in secondary school. On Monday, she's there teaching her kids literature. And she's proud and happy with it. And it's her life. She doesn't have to own a car. Because teachers have no buy car. Yes, I'm going to buy a car. So for someone who asks me about teacher, I have one in my house. We discuss. We argue. We talk. I don't think I'm a poor man. I'm a very rich man. But there's a process this is go through. So you don't have to. I had a lovely wife. My wife said, I have, and I still have. There's only one woman. Is there. We're very close. But when I became governor, I said, no, we can't have office of first lady. Because you never campaign. Nobody voted for you. Because it's a competition. I love her. We live in the same house. But we need to call the cost. Because the money we use to run that office is what we need to fix school. So we said no. I met someone who came from the United Nations this morning. He said, Peter, I want to thank you for what you did for UNDP. I never had a lunch in Abuja. Because I said, going on Anambra, they doesn't live in Abuja. So why would we going to give a house there? So what am I trying to say? I can go on and tell you what people do that brings rascality in our system. So the youth should have a proper life. I want my children to grow up, have a proper life. Not to think of, if I give you my conversation with my son, you'll be shocked. If I give you my conversation with my son, you'll be shocked. We schedule meetings in order to meet because he's working. And he will tell me, I can't leave my office for you. I travel. I had an event in 2019. I was in New York. My son was in New York for 1 week. We couldn't meet. And I've not seen him in 6 months. But we agreed we'll meet. But what he was doing, by the time I came in and said, listen, his schedule is full. Mine was full. We spoke on the phone. We were supposed to go out for lunch. And we're like this. Just like now, my daughter like this. But they have to grow up the proper way in which I grew up. Not to come here and live as if son of governor and start running around from one party to the other. No. This woman does not have any very rich and successful man. She lives that kind of life. That's why she can live where she's living now. Otherwise, there will be confusion all over the place. She's happily married, everything. So things have to be normal. We choose not to be normal here. So the youth wants to be giving job of SA. What is SA? Special assistant. Without doing anything. Does he have a future with that? Because they say, how many youths are in government? I'll bring them in and say, essays for essay this, essay that. In the end, they have no life. Why can't they be Steve Jobs? Why can't they be named them? They can actually do their own thing. Clinton was kept in office by the youth. Young girls like Didi Myers, George Stenopolis, they were all in their 30s when they were advising Clinton. But they had a job. So immediately, he knows, immediately Clinton left, they went back to their job. Not just come out of school and become essay. From essay, become a talk. From that, he become a House of Assembly member. From that, he becomes this. In the end, all he leaves this from one set of corruption. Somebody asked, how are you going to deal with corruption? And that's my answer. It is easy to fight corruption. I say it every day. If you are not stealing, your wife is not stealing, your children are not, and your friends are not, you reduce it by 60%. I was governor in Anambra State. It's me who approved everything. And I said, I'm responsible for their money for 8 years. Go and show me where something went wrong. Because you are going to approve it. The way it works is that you have approved, you take. So those who will help you to carry the paper will put their own. This one will put their own, this one will put their own. But you will be the first one, or your wife, or your children, or your friends. Because they are the ones who bring people around you. Then the band you know is they say, oh, there's a cabal around him. There's no cabal. I didn't have any cabal. I was alone. Nobody went to my wife because she didn't have anything. We live in the same house. And my authority is simple. You didn't campaign. Nobody voted for you. You're not part of this government. Our own contract is that you're my wife and I love you. So I'm at home. And I come home every day. I say, you won't look for me. I shut down all the guest houses as governor. There's no guest house. You can't ask anybody whether I've seen anybody in one guest house in Oka. No guest house. Every guest should come to my house. So, and once you come there, she's there. So the guests, if you want food, and they cook for only one person, if you're going to follow me back, I'll tell them. When I started, they used to cook food everywhere. And I asked them, why is this? They say, in case if I come back, I say, oh. The only people who keep money, food in case is hotel. Because somebody can come and, but not in somebody's house. So leave it. When I'm coming back with somebody, I'll let you know. It's not a place. Government house is not a place you pass by. No, it's a serious business. If you go to White House today and Biden gives you food, he paid. So he paid. Can't give you food. Because there must be something that they are doing that will make somebody to come and eat food for free. So I didn't. So it's not percentage of use that makes the difference. It is, I want my own children to grow up in a normal way. I just told you that it's safe for them. But it's not for them to start living a life where they have to enter first class. They have to do this and everything. My wife can't. Because she has lived with me, she's tolerated me, she's lived with me for years. So whatever I have, She has part of it. Even when we argue, because women, if I let her know that, if I let her see the way it is, it can go overboard. They never stop by, so sorry about that. So you have to put some control. People will always tell you, oh, why don't you have a joint account with your wife? I said, not in Africa. There's some things that is still Africa. Africa have to have some things. It's not part of development. We have not reached that one. So, but thank you very much for your time. You can see now, you can see how we ended. We ended with me being the comedian now. So thank you for your time and everything. But above all, 2023 is very important to us. I didn't have to tell you how bad things are. Because I found out that whenever I say, people even get depressed. But in a country that uses 96% of its money revenue to service debts, is a crisis. You cannot leave Abuja today because it's very insecure. Things are bad. So my dear people, I plead with you people, let's stop this. Let's stop this for the sake of ourselves, our children and grandchildren, because it will take its revenge on all of us. God bless you. I hope I get your vote.
Thanks for checking out SYMFONI on YouTube. Please be sure to subscribe and like our videos for updates.